Hi, Rina, Meena, Tina.
Oh God.
The issue was not that हम बाहर निकले. The issue was we could not get inside. रात को हम जब घूम फिर के वापस आए 5 बजे and we are figuring out how to go inside क्योंकि entry main door से तो जा नहीं सकते. इधर first floor पे हम we are trying to climb, we are unable to climb. So finally we had to go from the front. But it was an adventure and then गाली पड़ी. As a disciplinary committee बिठाई गई. yeah. So I was sitting for a lunch with a very famous celebrity in Bollywood, okay? That, and then he was sitting next to me. All of a sudden, he becomes super pally with me, right? And super pally is like, how are you? In this case, hey, Samar, what's up? Khana khao, right? Friendly. But you know, it was just not that. So mera thigh, so he's sitting right here, right? And he's constantly like, Samar, how are you, bro? And he was constantly doing this. He was squeezing my thighs. And I'm like, what is happening? Why is he squeezing? And he kept squeezing my thigh for a good 40 odd minutes.
Weird, very weird.
It was like, it was obviously friendly, but मैं उधर बैठा हूँ तो मेरे को बहुत weird लगा कि guys, buy this merch. It has a butterfly written on it. I mean, drawn on it and Siddhant on it. It's purple, by the way.
It's personalized.
It's superbly personalized. It's black. And you know what else is black? Your future if you don't buy this shirt, okay? So buy this shirt so your future is not black, okay? Buy it. Consume. Consumerism is great. Capitalism, look at me in the eyes. Consume, eat. Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Astrix show. I'm your very own host Shruti Sinha, and today with us we have Mr. Samar Pratap Nayak. Hello sir.
Hi, Shruti.
Thank you.
AKA Simon.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. So starting with when I was doing a little bit of research on you, starting with Instagram, the first thing I came across was your username, obviously.
Okay.
So what is the significance of your username, Samar of 69?
I used to sing in a band earlier, so I just felt that the song Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams, it was one of my favorites because he talks about how he gets his first guitar and he starts singing, makes his own band. That resonated with me at a point of time when I had made my first band. I became the lead vocalist.
Your own band.
It was my own band, yeah. And I thought for a while that I would make a living out of singing songs. And I grew up eventually. So, but still, I think somewhere or the other, that sentiment kind of stayed with me, you know. And when I was making my ID on Instagram, मेरे को लगा कि I think everything needs to have a layer, one for the world and one for yourself, right? So, for the world, it could mean anything, but to me, it meant a song.
Childhood significance.
Yeah, the childhood significance. Right. And that's a story that is personal to me. So I wanted that to be there. And it's just a very nice pun, and people like puns. So, yeah. Yeah. So that's why.
The next question is related to your bio.
Yeah.
I'm going very chronological.
Correct.
So it's written that from KIIT and then IIM. Mm-hmm. So what is your journey from KIIT to IIM?
Okay, I'll tell you an interesting anecdote, right? So recently मैं एक client meeting को जाने वाला था. उससे पहले there was this one of the consultants that we're working with, and he's not a full-time consultant of mine. He's like, he works in the capacity like, you know, my project basis पे. तो वो बंदा आया था मेरे साथ मीटिंग में बैठा था, and he was talking about this XYZ client, not gonna name them obviously, but he was like, हाँ उस client के पास चले जाते हैं, and मैं बोला हाँ तो pitch में क्या करेंगे, so will they like this? So I was talking about the pitch, right? And he goes something like, नहीं यार उनको आपका IIM का tag दिखा देंगे and she'll be convinced. I'm like, wait, why? Because what if I did not have the tag, right? And it really struck me. I said, कि regardless of the tag, I think the work should speak
For itself.
For itself, right? Tags, and I will tell you something. IIM में हमारे एक faculty थे, उन्होंने बहुत beautiful एक चीज़ बोला था कि your institution should not draw you should not draw credibility from your institution, but your institution should draw credibility from you. तो काम ऐसा करो कि आप आपका tag ना दिखाओ, but जो आपका tag है, that gets famous because of what you do, राइट? सो मेरे को ये सही में टैग ही लगता है, ठीक है? एंड इट्स सैड दैट अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल will give you more legitimacy and credibility because you have a certain tag attached to you. But in my opinion, that's all there is to it. It's a tag. It's a beautiful tag, no doubt, but it's a tag at the end of the day. Your work should speak, because I know so many people who have passed out of IIMs and IITs and they do not amount up to much. And kids who go from, third tier engineering colleges and they still make history. I'm not saying that IIMs are bad in any which way. I'm just saying that your credibility and your legitimacy should come from your work and not from your tag. And that's my take on this.
It is very true in your case because recently you went to KIIT
Yeah.
for an alumni talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was interesting because मैं BBA में उसी बैच में था और मेरे को इतने सालों बाद they are calling me back.
How many years?
Quite a few years, I would say 7, maybe I if I'm correct, maybe 7 odd years, almost. I'll have to check. I'm not sure because I've lost. But I think 7. मेरे को जितना याद है 7 to 8 max तो 8, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं. But हाँ, मैं जब उधर गया, it was like going back to your home. It was like a homecoming. And मैं जब उन BBA के बच्चों को देख रहा था ना, मेरे को पता है all these kids, they have been forced to come here by the faculty. So मेरे first slide में मैंने बोला कि जो लोग इधर जोर ज़बरदस्ती आए हो, निकल जाओ अभी. This is the only chance I let you, because after that you logged in, and surprisingly nobody left, and surprisingly all of them had fun. तो मेरा जो एक डर था कि नहीं यार, मैं अगर जा रहा हूँ तो उनको बोर नहीं करवाना है. They have to get something out of that workshop. I think that was fulfilled.
I think as a student, I would also agree to this that the biggest favor in a workshop is getting bored.
Correct.
हम वहाँ पे जाते हैं बोर होने के लिए, हमें स्कूल भेज देता है.
Correct.
So if we ever experience a fun workshop, I think we learn a lot from that.
Exactly, because see, मेरे को बहुत लोग बोलते हैं टीचर्स फैकल्टी से मैं जब बात करता हूँ कि आजकल के बच्चे पढ़ते नहीं है थैंक्स टू टिकटॉक एंड ऑल दैट. आपका अटेंशन स्पैन ठीक मतलब इंस्टाग्राम का रील, राइट? इंस्टाग्राम रील्स नाउ it's so beautifully managed. The tech has made our attention span so low कि हमारा attention span कहीं भी रहता नहीं है, right? And it so आजकल फैकल्टी बोलते हैं कि यार इन बच्चों का डिस्ट्रैक्शन हो जाता है, उनको पढ़ा नहीं पाते. माई टेक ऑन दैट इज कि आप अगर पढ़ाना सीखोगे, बिकॉज यू हैव टू अपडेट द वे यूर टीचिंग, राइट? बैक इन द 16th century जैसे बच्चों को पढ़ाया जाता था, इट्स नो लॉन्गर रेलेवेंट anymore, right? Because it was not relevant 20 years ago also. So why do you think what was relevant 20 years ago will be relevant now? तो मेरे को जो बोलते हैं कि समर आओ आप वर्कशॉप करो हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी में, स्कूल में, मैं बोलता हूँ वर्कशॉप इज अ वेरी फैंसी वे ऑफ कॉलिंग इट. मैं जाता हूँ स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी करने के लिए, राइट? आई गो देयर टू क्रैक जोक्स, आई गो देयर टू understand exactly what these kids are thinking, because it's a to and fro approach. It's not there to जाके भाषण दो for a good 2 hours. I call it experiential learning, because a huge part of this workshop is the kids doing. That's the magic of it. I don't talk much. I talk for a hardly half an hour. उसके बाद the rest of the workshop 1 hour is just them doing a certain thing, and they learn what.
So they also went like really involved in it.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Education has to be involving, right? थियरी तो कितना ही आप पढ़ा पाओगे.
आप तो IIM भी गए हो, KIIT भी गए हो, ठीक है. तो सबसे ज्यादा मजा आपको कहाँ पे आया, KIIT में या फिर IIM?
हर जगह का अलग मजा है. मैं आपको बोलूंगा कि बिरयानी खा के ज्यादा मजा आया या दही बड़ा खा के ज्यादा मजा आया. But two different,
completely different.
मैं I cannot pick between a dahi bada, Raghu dahi bada in Cuttack and a very nice Hyderabadi biryani in Paradise. Two different things, right? In KIIT, I learned that your community matters, and in IIM, I understood why. Right? I'll tell you what I mean by that. See, KIIT ने मेरे को दोस्ती का मतलब सिखाया, right? But you know what is why IIM का tag इतना strong है? Because you draw a lot of resources from your alumni community. So जब आपको वो alumni card देते हैं ना, they give you access to the entire alumni connect. तो IIM में जितने लोग फ्रॉम द इंसेप्शन ऑफ IIM जितने लोग पढ़े हुए हैं ना, you get to be a part of that community. So there is this one what do you say, platform where you can actually connect with all the alumni. So मेरे को अगर आज के डेट में कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ, right? For example, I want to get some funding for a certain, say, startup that I'm working with, right? I can just go on this platform and say, okay, hey guys, this is the idea. This is what the kids are doing. Do you think we can get some funding?
Instant.
And instantly, right?
Right.
You can't do that on LinkedIn because LinkedIn में आपको request भेजना पड़ेगा.
Yeah.
So the biggest asset of the tag is just the alumni connect. Other than that, it's like any other university. तो मैंने जो बोला कि दोस्ती का मतलब मैंने सीखा है kids से, but I understood why your networking has to be so strong, why your friendship or your community has to be so strong in IIM. And obviously there was a huge gap between these two events. So inside my head also, it got kind of assembled in that time. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so any incident that happened in KIIT or IIM that you remember, like forever, something adventurous or something mischievous kind of?
Something adventurous. KIIT में तो बहुत adventure किया
KIIT में तो होगा,
मैंने. Right,
obviously.
starting from rock garden to I'm kidding. Rock garden में हम लोग practice करते थे dances का.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Right? But या किट में तो बहुत एडवेंचर किया है यार. हम लोग मतलब वो पानी में कूद जाते थे. वो हमारा केसो में एक बड़ा सा एक पॉन्ड है, उधर दोस्तों को फेंक देते थे आधी रात को 12 बजे. I should not be saying this on camera, but we used to like jump out of hostel.
What were you doing there?
Dude, what we used to do is we used to find ways of getting out of hostel, right?
You stayed in the hostel.
So बोलने के लिए, so मैंने हॉस्टल में एक रूम लिया हुआ था.
Okay.
बट मैं घर भी आता था. मैंने हॉस्टल में इसलिए रूम लिया था कि जब मेरे को मन करे दोस्तों के साथ हैंग आउट करने के लिए,
you can-
I have a room, okay?
Right.
So it was a namesake. मैं उधर रहता भी नहीं था. In fact, after the first year, I stopped staying there, but I paid the fees for the next 2 years. So my friends used to stay there, और वो लोग उधर खट्टी करते थे, like they used to have fun. And एक बार बहुत बार वार्डन ने मेरे को डांटा भी कि यार तुम रूम क्यों ले रखा है तुमने, फीस क्यों दे रहे हो. हाँ, you don't use it. मैं बोला आप मतलब फीस तो मेरा लॉक हो गया था. So what's the point? I don't want to. And plus मैं उधर कभी कभी जाके रह भी जाता था, right? मतलब once a week, twice a week मैं रह जाता हूँ whenever I want to hang out with friends. Yeah.
Fun incident.
फन इंसिडेंट. ठीक है, एक बार हम रात के 12 बजे क्या हुआ, मेरे दोस्त ने बोला कि भाई हम हॉस्टल से निकलते हैं, चल मतलब घूमेंगे रात को. पता नहीं क्यों, मतलब ऐसे मस्ती चढ़ी हमको. तो व्हाट वी डिड वाज, आवर हॉस्टल वाज जस्ट न्यूली कंस्ट्रक्टेड एंड इट वाज नॉट द अदर हॉस्टल, इट वाज द अफगानी स्टूडेंट्स, इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स जो रहते थे उधर हमारा हॉस्टल था. तो उधर एक खिड़की फर्स्ट फ्लोर में हमने फिगर आउट कर दिया इसको खोल सकते हैं और फर्स्ट फ्लोर से छलांग लगा सकते हैं हम लोग. तो वी डिड व्हाट वी थॉट वाज बेस्ट. हमने छलांग लगाई, हम चले गए. द इशू वाज नॉट दैट हम बाहर निकले, द इशू वाज वी कुड नॉट गेट इनसाइड. रात को हम जब घूम फिर के वापस आए 5 बजे, एंड वी आर फिगरिंग आउट हाउ टू गो इनसाइड, क्योंकि एंट्री मेन डोर से तो जा नहीं सकते. इधर फर्स्ट फ्लोर में हम वी आर ट्राइंग टू क्लाइम, वी आर अनेबल टू क्लाइम. So finally we had to go from the front, but it was an adventure. And then गाली पड़ी, as a disciplinary committee बिठाई गई. yeah. We were like really, yeah, हुआ था यार. But it was so much fun. और I think my favorite was when they taught us about design thinking again, because design thinking has really shaped the way I work.
What is it exactly?
Design thinking is a framework of solving a problem. For example, if I tell you कि ये चीज़ टूट गया, right? So you'll be like, चलो लाओ, मैं glue लाओ, फेविक्विक लाओ, मैं जोड़ देता हूँ. This is how we normally approach a problem, right? कि problem है, problem को fix करो. Design thinking is asking कि why did it break, right? Is the material bad? Is the wood bad? Glass में cracks थे क्या? Crack किधर से आए? So understanding exactly why it broke down and fixing that. So that
Why
it
the
never.
problem came?
Yeah, why the problem initially? So it's a way of redefining the problem, right? I will give you an example how design thinking is relevant. So, for example, there are these headphones. So there was this guy who came to this one tech company and he said, "Hey guys, I want to be able to hear underwater. तो मेरे लिए एक ऐसा earphone आप बनाओ जिससे मैं underwater सुन पाऊंगा." So obviously a lot of tech guy approached it the way normally we approach problems. Okay, so he wants to hear underwater, so let's make him a earphone, right? Everybody tried to make a earphone. They were extra padded as a मतलब woolen करके पता नहीं. They will do speakers underwater कुछ भी, right? Then this guy came along and he said, you know what? The problem statement is not that he wants a earphone underwater with which he can hear. The problem statement is he wants to hear underwater. So fix that. Okay? So they went back and they made this device, and I'm not screwing around, you can actually Google this. They made a device with which you can put it against this bone here. इधर एक आपके ear के side में एक bone होता है. So this device presses against. It's like a headphone, but it has nothing to do. So bone से उन्होंने sound को conduct किया. So you could hear the sound inside your head through conduction between your bones. So ये ear से नहीं हो रहा था, ये bone conduction से हो रहा था. So you see, you were able to hear music underwater, but not through your ears, but through the bone that is near your ears. So it's a way of redefining a problem and coming with a solution that you could not have thought.
That is very
Right? So that is what design thinking is. So that one lecture on design thinking, I think it sent my life on a different trajectory. I was like, no matter what I do in life, I think I will approach it with a design thinking approach. I will not do things that people ask me to do, but I'll try to give them the value that they do not know that they deserve. Right? If that makes any sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. But मैं जब बोलता हूँ तो लोगों को थोड़ा वो confuse हो जाता है. ठीक है. चलिए.
Okay. Next question is, it's a latest question, I feel. Recently, there is a news कि India को भारत कर देंगे change the name. But many people are giving this logic कि constitution में already mentioned है कि India या फिर भारत.
That is Bharat or something. Yeah.
It's Bharat.
हाँ जी.
So what if they change the name of Odisha to Kalinga? You know, in the national anthem also Odisha is referred as Utkal.
Correct.
So if they change Odisha's name, what is your take on that?
What is my take on that?
So what do you think about it?
What do I think about that? देखिए, I feel that मेरे को लगता है कि if anything is done, for example, anything, ये तो नाम की बात आप करते हो. For example, even if I'm picking up this can and I'm drinking, right? One, there should be a purpose behind that. Okay, it should not be for nothing. Like it should not be a gimmick, right? So to that end, आप सोचिए कि नाम अगर किसी जगह का आप नाम चेंज कर रहे हो, what does it mean? Like, is there an end goal to that? So मेरे मानने में the reason why इंडिया का नाम भारत चेंज हो रहा है, my understanding of this, now I could be wrong in assuming, is that I think we all need a sense of community. And I'm not saying that we did not have that sense of community earlier. We did not take pride in our roots earlier. I'm just thinking that calling India Bharat kind of puts that sentiment on overdrive, right? India is great. It's a lovely name. But Bharat has a touch of nationalism to it. And I think that's what it is. It has a purpose to it. A lot of people are talking about it being right or wrong. And I don't think that should be the debate, right? It's not a matter of right or wrong. The right question is that, what is the purpose of it? And if the purpose makes sense, right? I will tell you what, because IIM की बात हो रही थी, IIM में हमारे और एक प्रोफेसर थे, उन्होंने बहुत ब्यूटीफुल सी चीज़ बोली कि Samar, there are no right and wrong answers. There are only appropriate answers. Okay? Appropriate answers.
Explaining.
Okay, I'll explain it to you. For example, आप एक business में हो, ठीक है? Business अभी घाटे में चल रहा है. You have to cut your costs. Okay? Cutting cost means consolidation, so you'll have to fire a lot of people. The same guy who hired, a lot of time companies, what they do is they get another CEO to do the firing, right? Case in point, Disney, okay? Disney has recently gone back to get their previous CEO because he was known for cost cutting and making, like he's like a turnaround guy. And this is the guy who goes to department, fires everybody. He's ruthless. So देखिए, is it the right thing to fire people? No, it's not. A lot of livelihoods are hurt, a lot of houses are hurt. But it is appropriate. It's a very difficult thing to do.
For the company.
For the company, right? It's not right for the people. But it's for the stakeholders. For that CEO, it's appropriate. तो अगर आप उधर मॉरली क्या राइट और रॉन्ग है, आप अगर उस आर्ग्यूमेंट में फंस जाओगे, then you won't be able to take decisions. So you will have to understand the context when you are faced with a problem, and you have to ask yourself what is an appropriate answer, not a right and wrong. Because moral decisions के लिए आप business में नहीं घुसते, और when people come to you for a solution, normally they don't ask for a morally right. They ask you for an appropriate solution, which
will actually work.
And which will work for most number of people, which will work keeping the future in mind. That's what I think again. But I don't know if that is the right thing to think or not. But
That is your opinion. Many people
It's
are
an
giving
appropriate
so many
opinion.
opinions on appropriate opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
So if they change Odisha's name to, do you think it will give a desi touch to?
Will it give a desi touch? Absolutely, it will give a desi touch. But again, why is very important. Not कि मैंने कुछ कर दिया. क्यों कर रहे हो? If the why makes sense to me, only then will I be able to.
I don't think then renaming any state or a place makes much sense then.
Renaming a place or a state doesn't make sense. Why do you? Why?
Because क्या ही होगा, मतलब you just changing the name. What is the purpose for that? You change the name. Why did you change the name? Like, why?
Hi, Rina, Meena, Tina.
Oh God. I get the point, but the thing is कि आपने मेरा नाम change किया अभी, तो I felt little absurd. Okay. So now
you felt absurd because I changed it to some random nonsensical name.
Yeah.
Had I named you something that you were identified as, or there was meaning to that name, would you have minded? For example, something like तुम्हारे घर में तुमको क्या बुलाता है?
Right?
तो मैं अगर आपको साइमन बुलाऊं, still it has a meaning attached to it. You will not mind it, right?
But still, जो नाम we have heard from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I have at
Very
least
beginning
heard from the very beginning. From my childhood,
Your childhood.
I have. I don't my perspective. I have heard and called India as India only.
India, correct.
So if you change it to Bharat,
हाँ जी.
I don't mind calling it Bharat. I think it's a very beautiful name.
Yeah.
But still.
Still what? क्या?
Still मेरा मन नहीं मान रहा.
आपका मन नहीं मान रहा तो मैं क्या करूँ उस बारे में?
No, the thing is कि many people are saying the same thing, right? कि why do you have to change it? It's in his opinion.
Yeah, I mean people कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना, छोड़ो इन सब बातों में कहीं बीत ना जाए रहना. Meena, sorry.
So you support this thing that India can be called as Bharat?
I support anything that puts my nation first. Anything that puts.
Very patriotic.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question is about our Jagannath Mandir. I think many people know about it. It's a very famous place. What are your experience to Mahaprabhu Jagannath? I mean, we have all heard a lot of miracles. In fact, I have felt the miracles of him. Have you ever felt something on that side?
I think he helps you in very mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Right? मेरे को लगता है कि वो आपको मतलब directly help नहीं करते. He puts you in situations where you find solutions for it, and he helps you finding those solutions. Right? And he's a beautiful he's a very beautiful entity that way. For example, मैं आपको एक छोटी सी बात बताता हूँ. I was growing up in South India, right? I was growing up in Bangalore for a while. I was in Chennai for a while. Went through a phase where I had to मतलब मेरे को कुछ सही नहीं जा रहा था, I had a lack of purpose.
How old were you then?
I was like, what, 15, 16? Teenage, right? Or this is
trouble age.
Yeah, this is the age where you're trying to find yourself.
Yeah.
But मेरा ना बहुत ऊपर नीचे चल रहा था. For example, my mother's health was very bad, and she was struggling with her health. I had certain issues that I was kind of grappling with. और मेरे को there was a point when I know this will sound this will sound strange, but I was feeling suicidal at one point of time, right? Even as a teenager, I know क्या ही इतना burden हो गया तुम्हारा कि you're feeling suicidal, but I was not feeling in the best of my mental health. और तब क्या हुआ पता है? I relocated to Odisha after a few years. After a huge bout of not feeling great. And I was like, yaar, why am I going to Odisha? Right? Like, I was not very excited about the prospect of...
Spent your childhood in South India?
Mostly. I did not grow up in
So
Odisha.
Odisha is a new place.
It was a new place for me. So I was like, I had seen Odisha in snapshot जब भी मैं grandfather के घर को आता था. But I was like, why am I going to Odisha? There is no point to it. But you know, after I came to Odisha, I actually found the purpose. Right? So मेरे को लगता है, it was Jagannath, Sri Jagannath's way of, Lord Jagannath's way of showing me a purpose, because the way I came down is also very strange. I was not supposed to come here. I was getting a scholarship in another university in Bangalore, and I literally said no to that scholarship because I felt that agar main KSOM ko aau, then half day I'll be able to kind of do my studies, and the other half I'll be able to be productive. I'll be able to do ad films, I'll be able to do videos. Side hustle basically. So I got more liberty here, although I was getting scholarship there. So yeah, I mean, क्या reasonable choice है? नहीं है, ये reasonable choice नहीं है, but still, for some reason I ended up here, and I met a lot of people who helped me become who I am, and there was a lot of luck involved. Okay, just saying that I am amazing and I'm hardworking and it's all me is just arrogance, right? A huge part of success is built upon absolute dumb luck, and I think luck is a reduction of divine intervention, right? For example, भगवान आपको बहुत aspects में help करता है, और आप उस help को luck का नाम दे देते हैं, right?
Okay.
तो मेरे को लगता है कि correct. मैं आपको एक छोटा सा example देता हूँ. मैं जब ओडिशा आया था, and this is an actual, I still have goosebumps whenever I hear this. DLF से मैं गुजरता था क्योंकि किट के पास था, right? Yeah. So मैं DLF से गुजरता था, तो ऐसे ही वो जो दिल फेक किस्म का एक एस्पिरेशन नहीं होता, बंदा कॉलेज के फर्स्ट ईयर में है, ठीक है, जस्ट आई हैव जस्ट कम टू ओडिशा, डीएलएफ से गुजर रहा हूँ, आई जस्ट लुक अप, आई एम लाइक 7वें माले पे अपना ऑफिस लूंगा. लिटरली 2 years लेटर 7वें माले पे ऑफिस है मेरा, ठीक है. आज के डेट में मेरा डीएलएफ में जो ऑफिस है, इट्स ऑन 7th floor, और 7th floor मैंने इसलिए बोला था while I was passing by because 7 is my lucky number. It's my mother's number. I had just lost my mother. So I was like, I want that office, and I got that office, right? So इसको आप luck बोलो, भगवान का कृपा बोलो. I call it divine intervention. I think it's Sri Jagannath ji.
Universe said yes.
It's and who is the Lord of Universe? Sri Jagannath. So yeah, universe helping you or conspiring for you is Lord Sri Jagannath's blessings. So yeah.
This success and everything you think.
I'm not successful yet, but I'm relatively doing better.
We are just aspiring for success. You are already
Relatively.
there. Relatively, yeah. So for us, you are.
Yes.
So you think that he plays a very major role here?
Definitely. I'll tell you what. The other day, I was running a fever, and
that is why you cancelled the previous trip.
Yes. But उससे एक दिन पहले भी मेरा हालत बहुत खराब था. 2 podcast मेरे shoot होने थे. One with Mr. S.S. Ray and another with Sabyasachi. Sabyasachi is a podcast I shot in the morning. But second half, my body was just not holding up. I was starting to shiver. I felt like I'm gonna drop dead at one point of time. And I was sitting in the office and I was shivering, right? And I kept repeating this thing to me. I was mumbling it. And my one of my business partners who was sitting there with me said, Samar, what are you mumbling? And I was just like, I keep mumbling, how worthy are you? Whenever I feel weak, I just say, how worthy are you? How worthy are you? Because the response to how worthy are you is always very worthy, right? And when you have that internal monologue going for you, no matter how sick you are, you find an excuse to sit anywhere for an hour more and do your work, right? After I did that, I got it done with. I was able to walk back to the car. The minute I came back home, I collapsed and I had a shivering fever until morning. And I slept for a good 15 odd hours and then I was fine. So again, dumb luck bolo, divine intervention bolo, pata nahi.
Okay. The next question is, somewhere in your post, I saw in the caption that you mentioned that you were bullied for being an Odia.
Yes, I was.
So I presume it's in the south.
Yeah, it was in South India. But it was not always South Indians who bullied me. There were also a lot of North Indians. In fact, there were a lot of North Indians in Odisha who had bullied me for...
In Odisha?
In Odisha, yes. I won't name them, but there were a few of my North Indian friends. not bullied me. Bullied is a strong word, but there was an aspect of condescension, right? कि हाँ भाई तू तो उड़िया है.
In college or somewhere?
नहीं कॉलेज के दोस्त नहीं है, बाहर के दोस्त हैं. और देखिए चाइल्डहुड का बुलिंग डिफरेंट होता है. इट्स अ वेरी डायरेक्ट बुलिंग के ए उड़िया है एंड शिट लाइक दैट, राइट? पार्डन माय फ्रेंच. बट as you grow up, the bullying takes a different format or shape or size, right? It's not a direct form of bullying. It's a very condescending kind of.
It's a pinch or taunt.
Pinch वाला, taunt, right? So इसको मैं bullying नहीं बोलूँगा, but definitely एक sense of condescension मेरे को feel होता था. And I'm not saying the reason I'm saying North Indian, South Indian, just that मैं negativity नहीं फैलाना चाहता हूँ. Facts are facts,
it's
right?
true.
This is what I've endured, and I'm not saying कि सारे North Indians ऐसे हैं, सारे South Indians ऐसे हैं. There are a lot of good people, there are a lot of bad people. So South Indians ने सिर्फ नहीं किया, it's people across. In fact, बहुत ओडिया ने भी मेरे को, a lot of Odias put down Odias themselves, right? So and it's a mixed bag, right? And yes, in childhood I was bullied. The short answer is yes, I was bullied. Yeah.
Like, how old you were then?
I remember the first incident, as if I can recollect my memory properly, I think I was barely like 11, 12 years old. उससे पहले तो मतलब इतना मतलब awareness नहीं था geography का बच्चों को, I think, right? I was just another kid in the class who did not speak Telugu or Malayalam or Tamil or Kannada. But I think after a certain age, I think that cultural differences start showing up to a huge degree. And that's when I think camps are formed. यह तेलुगु वाला camp.
I think being brought up in South India also leaves a huge imprint on you, because even being from a typical Odia family and growing up in a Odia environment, the state also matters a lot, the surrounding also matters a lot. So I think you have some connection to the South.
Oh yes, I call Chennai my second home, right? I speak in Telugu and I can understand Tamil. I used to be very good at Tamil, but I've lost touch. I can understand Kannada, my bad. I have a very close, association with South India, and I love South India. I love the food, I love the culture, I love the people also. But I was bullied as a kid, so but doesn't make that entirely bad, right? It's a mixed bag of memories and some bitter, some sweet.
This is not only for Odia people. I think this is all over the country, that regional differences, people don't exactly pursue it as very positive, and they make a big issue of it everywhere. Being born as a Bengali in Odisha, I think I have Odia people have accepted me very nicely, and I have never been bullied for being an Bengali.
I'm so happy and glad that has never happened. I think Bengali people are very sweet, and a lot of people think that I despise or dislike Bengali people.
I felt that before coming here.
No,
now
I don't, because see, jokes are jokes, and jokes apart, I have a lot of love and respect for Bengali people. Not a lot of people know this, but I have Bengali roots. Okay, so for me, it's more about a social commentary, and it's about humor. A lot of times it's about humor. Sometimes I feel very strongly about causes like Rasagolla, right? It's a huge debate, and people are like, ऐसे छोटे से बात का क्यों पतंगड़ बना रहे हो? For me, it's not a छोटा सा बात.
Food has a deep association with one's culture. So I think you feeling that Rasgulla Odisha का है is, I think.
ये feeling तो नहीं है, fact है.
I don't have any issues with everything. खाने से मतलब है purely. तो I think it's very natural.
You will have strong. See, for me, it's a symbol. It's not a sweet, it's a symbol. It's a symbol. तो एक बहुत एक draconian law था, sunset law. I will deep dive into this a little bit. So because of sunset law, what used to happen is that जो भी farmer या landlord Odisha में
colonial India.
Yeah, in colonial India, right? Because back in that time there was no separation, right? It was all of it was presidency, right? Like there was no Odisha, there was no West Bengal. All of this was like this. So, but Odisha was a separate culture. They were separate people. But इधर जितने भी लैंड जब्त होते थे बिकॉज लैंडलॉर्ड्स वर अनेबल टू पे टैक्सेस टू द ब्रिटिश, उनका नीलामी कहाँ होता था? वो होता था वेस्ट बंगाल में, राइट? वो उड़ीसा में नहीं होता था. So naturally a lot of lands, marquee, creme de la creme, good lands were sold for dirt cheap rates in West Bengal. So naturally a lot of Bengalis became our zamindars. So we were one colonized by the British, then we were we were subjugated, and we were also, our masters were a lot of Bengali people. Nothing wrong with that. But inbuilt was a psyche that, somewhere or the other that, we have masters and Bengalis are our masters, and a lot of our...
But this zamindari system was introduced by British also.
Of course, it was a way of dividing our country. It was very methodically done. Yeah, so what the British did with India and Pakistan, they did with Odisha and West Bengal. And I'm very aware of that. What I want today, the reason why I even put up that debate or that dialogue up in social media, is that I want people to acknowledge it. I don't want you to fight. See, just acknowledge it, na? Just acknowledge it. Yeah.
People, I think it's because of the circumstances that we were in.
Correct. And मेरे को भाई, see, I don't have anything against Bengali people. I love them. Some of my sweetest, closest, dearest friends are Bengalis. But debate है तो मैं debate करूँगा, right? But दोस्ती यारी है तो चलो, we'll sit down and have a drink.
Nothing personal.
Nothing personal, right? It's very civil. We can sit down, we can conversate, but if it's debate, don't expect any mercy, right? Because I belong to this camp and I champion this camp very mercilessly. तो मेरे को बहुत लोग गाली भी देते हैं, but that's fine, यार. That's fine.
I think social media पे तो ऐसे गाली वाली, it's you have so many followers also.
बहुत कम है.
40,000 बहुत होते हैं. 40,000 बहुत होते हैं.
Please do not call me an influencer.
No, I did not call you an influencer. It's just that you have a lot of followers. Narendra Modi has a lot of followers.
My God, they're two different. My God, you are humbling me.
But no, I'm saying that he is not an influencer, right? That's the first example that came to my mind. But he's not an influencer, right?
Correct.
But people like him, so they follow him on Instagram. It's just a way of...
Yes. और मैं तो I don't even show the characteristics of a creator, right? मैं consistent नहीं हूँ.
But I like your reels.
Really? Thank you.
Yes, I like your reels.
I hope you're following. You're not following?
No, not yet.
See, Bengalis, guys. I tell you, these Bengalis, they come, they enjoy your content, they don't follow you.
No, but
I'm kidding.
First time I saw that mutton bhata wala, I think the love for mutton bhata in Odia people is also very significant in Bengalis also.
Yeah.
So there are cultural similarities.
Oh, definitely.
We have pakhala bhata, we have panta bhat. You know that?
Of course I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we are friends.
Of course we are friends. There's no doubt about it. We are, say, देखो sibling rivalry जैसे होती है. आपके भाई हैं, भाई बहन हैं? नहीं है. ठीक है. अगर आपके भाई बहन जिनके होंगे उनको पूछ. Yeah. So there is a sort of healthy rivalry. वो जो मजाक उड़ाते हैं अपने भाई बहन को, आप मजाक उड़ाते हो ना, वो गलत तरीके से आप लोगे तो झगड़ा हो जाएगा. अच्छे तरीके से लोगे तो you laugh your way to the kitchen and have something to eat, right? Most probably a Rasgulla.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are pretty famous now. Okay. You were sitting with Anu Malik and you were having conversations with national film directors and Nirmanda Fanda sir and Sambisachi also. So you're famous now. You have to accept it.
Proximity to power deludes people into thinking that they wield it. Which means that just because I sit around with a lot of famous people doesn't mean I'm famous myself, right? It just means that I know a lot of people and some of them are famous.
I knew you before coming here, before Siddhant told me that I was going to have a podcast with Samar. So you are famous coming here.
All right.
So any experiences that you had around the famous people, you don't have to name them, but any experiences, good or bad experiences,
I'll tell you one
you learned
very weird, I can't name them, okay? Right? Because मैं name नहीं कर सकता, इसलिए मैंने कभी किसी के साथ share नहीं किया. So I was sitting for a lunch with a very famous celebrity in Bollywood, okay? So, initially he did not know me, but then it doesn't matter. So he found out about my family and stuff like that. And then he was sitting next to me. All of a sudden, he becomes super pally with me, right? And super pally is like, how are you? In this case, hey, Samar, what's up? Khana khao, right?
Friendly type.
Friendly. But you know, it was just not that. So mera thigh, so he's sitting right here, right? And he's constantly like, Samar, Samar, how are you, bro? And he was constantly been doing this. He was squeezing my thighs. And I'm like, what is happening? Why is he squeezing? And he kept squeezing my thigh for a good 40 odd minutes.
Weird, very weird.
It was like, it was obviously friendly, but मैं उधर बैठा हूँ तो मेरे को बहुत weird लगा कि ऐसी sitting down with a celebrity, you still would
You
think
knew
that
him personally or something?
I had met him just in the capacity, in a very different capacity. I did not meet him personally, but this was the first time I was meeting him personally, and my family was there, and then he met my family. So I think that's why he got a little pally also with me, and he's just talking about, oh, Odisha is great, you know, there's a sense of community, and then he just kept squeezing my thighs. I'm like, banda kya kar raha hai bhai? But he was a sweetheart, yeah. He was a very sweet guy. Yeah, can't name him. Don't ask me the guy.
I
Yeah.
am not asking.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, next question. You know, there is a lot of stigma around this thing. You also mentioned this, that many Odia people bullied you. And I have seen this thing that I think you will also acknowledge.
Many Odia people.
Some Odia people. Pardon. Okay, some Odia people. Few.
Yeah.
So I think you will also acknowledge this, that Odisha mein reh ke to many people are like Ame Odia and Khanti Odia stuff. But when you go outside Odia, many people, I feel that they feel a little ashamed, a very strong word to put it that way, but I think they don't amplify their culture as much as other people do, like Punjabis and Tamil people. They are very rooted to their culture. What do you think about
Okay, so we need to understand two things, right? A lot of times what we think is majority is actually the bubble we live in. What I mean by that is, कि जो हमको लगता है when we go on internet and we think that, oh shit, this is on the trend, this is what people are talking about. This is not what everybody is talking about. This is what your bubble or your sphere of internet, and internet is a very small sphere, by the way. A huge part of India is not even on the internet, right? So हमको लगता है कि Twitter में इसको cancel कर दो तो पूरा, you know, the entirety of India knows that this guy is cancelled. Not true. Internet, inside Twitter, there are certain lot of people, they have cancelled someone or they have done something, and we know. So जब आप बोलते हो कि there are a lot of people who are proud of being Odia, yes, there are a lot of people who are proud of being Odia, but there are also a lot of people who don't have a sense of pride.
Right.
Right.
That is what I'm talking about.
These, do not confuse these two people as the same. These two are two separate crowds. It's just that you get to see a lot of people on internet who are proud of being Odia, and you're connecting the dots, right? You see, this is a proud Odia, this is a proud Odia, so all Odias are proud. Not true. Not true. A lot of Odia people are making content which talks about Odia pride. But that doesn't mean that every last Odia in Odisha is proud. And sometimes we need to mobilize our community to feel proud of the things that they are doing, so that they will, and it's like a feedback loop, right? It's an internal monologue कि जितना आप बोलोगे कि हम लोग अच्छा कर रहे हैं और ज़्यादा लोग अच्छा करेंगे, right? It's part of the process. And that's why the reason why you mentioned all the communities, Punjabis, Marwadis, why do you think these people, the Punjabi agar milenge, they'll start talking in Punjabi.
Exactly.
To Bengalis will meet, they'll start talking in Bengalis.
Definitely.
You'll notice one thing similar in all these communities. All these communities are so-called, according to the statistics, are economically very sound. Statistically speaking, I'm not saying this, right? And again, statistically speaking, Odisha is considered a poor state. I don't believe
There's
it.
also a perception in South that Odisha se aaye ho,
Exactly.
jungle
So
se
there's
aaye
a
ho.
perception. It's a perception, right? It's a perception. So because there is that perception, and you will see this with people from certain communities, is that they disassociate from their own people because of a certain perception, right? The minute you change that perception, a lot of people who are disassociating will start associating, right? So it's up to people to change that. It's a chicken and egg scenario. The perception changes when you change it. When you start associating, you start associating. A lot of people will start associating with our community when you change the perception. I'll give you a small example. When I started Summer of 69, there was literally nobody, not a single content creator who was talking about Rasagolla, dahi vada, mutton bhata. Okay, none, like आप history check कर लो, ठीक है? Not a single creator. That's also the reason why I felt the need. There is a gap. Let's fill it. The minute I start talking, and I'm not saying I changed and मैं revolution. मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि पानी में पत्थर फेंकोगे तो रिपल क्रिएट होगा ही. दैट्स द नेचर ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. तो मैंने पानी में एक पत्थर फेंका, एक रिपल क्रिएट हुआ. बिकॉज ऑफ दैट more people came with bigger rocks. They threw bigger rocks into that pond and bigger ripples were created. So I think that if I, with limited resources, I did something small and that kind of started a chain reaction, imagine what bigger figureheads are capable of. Because मैं जब South India में मैं जब bully हुआ ना, और मैं जब ओडिशा आया, the reason why I created Samar 69 is that बचपन में मेरे को ऐसा कोई figurehead नहीं मिला who I could be like, oh, this is a Odia figurehead. Like a Telugu guy had a celebrity who was Telugu, right? Bengali person had a singer in Bollywood or, you know, in a national. But as an Odia kid, they asked me, तो तेरा celebrity is कौन है? I did not have a celebrity. And maybe I was ignorant. I did not know enough. But my first concern was कि मैं आज के डेट में I have to talk more about Odisha. I have to talk more about Odia culture. Because only then we can create a representation. Only then मैं जो content डालूंगा, maybe 5 years later a new content creator will come. He'll use this as the foundation and create better. So that's how it's done, right? And I hope that it will continue happening. इसलिए आज के डेट में मैं उतना aggressively बात भी नहीं करता हूँ because there's so many creators now talking about Rasgulla. And all of a sudden so many people and I'm happy now. I've taken a backseat. I was like, आप चलाओ धंधा मेरा हो गया. I want to concentrate on bigger problems now. And problems like entrepreneurship in Odisha. That's my next thing. I want to create more entrepreneurs in Odisha. I want to make Odisha more economically sound. Because that's, you know, perception game, right?
Yeah.
How do you change that perception? We make ourselves so economically strong that every single Odia who does not want to call himself Odia will be forced to claim to be Odia, right? You have to attack at the roots. Sorry, very impassioned speech.
It will get us a lot of views.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I think it is said that Odisha is the best kept secret of India. I don't think Odisha should be the best kept secret.
मैं जब पहली बार ये सुना, I was like, you're romanticizing the fact that nobody knows about us. So great. I mean, I love the copywriting. जिसने भी लिखा है, बहुत सोच समझ के लिखा है, बहुत beautifully लिखा है. But और मैं तब मुंबई में था. I was a copywriter back then when I first heard of this. और I came up with a alternative copy for the same thing, okay? तो मेरे को लगा कि जब मतलब मेरे को टाइम देंगे, मतलब मेरे को काम देंगे तो मैं ये सजेस्ट करूँगा. अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगा तो एक्सपोजर के लिए तो मैं ये दूंगा. सो मैंने लिखा था, मैंने ओडिशा के लिए नहीं लिखा था, मैंने भुवनेश्वर के लिए लिखा था. एंड इफ यू वॉच हे भुवनेश्वर, मेरा एक वीडियो है which is glorifying Bhubaneswar, which talks about the culture of Bhubaneswar. In the end of the video, मैंने उस copy को लिखा था, and it goes like, if Odisha is the best kept secret, then Bhubaneswar is the one we tell.
Okay.
So you take a pre-existing, you know, copy and you turn it on its head on the second. So that was the idea. मैं भुवनेश्वर के लिए मैं लिख रहा था. ओडिशा के लिए मैंने कुछ लिखा था, याद नहीं आ रहा है अब.
I think Bhubaneswar is the capital of Odisha. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Recently in the G20 summit, the IMF chief joined the Sambalpuri dance.
Correct,
and I
correct.
think all of my friends are sharing it. I also shared it.
Yeah.
You also shared
Yes,
it
I
today
did,
in the
I did,
story.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very proud moment for every Odia and especially Sambalpur, because in the recent podcast with Nilesh sir, you were talking about that Sambalpuri music is not that much, used in the Odia industry.
Not enough represented.
Represented in the Odia industry.
Yeah.
So I think Sambalpuri dance था हमारा बहुत ही famous, right? It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think, what do you think about this?
Sambalpuri dance?
It was basically represented internationally that way. So
मैं आपको एक इंसिडेंट बताता हूँ. मैं जब बचपन में, I think I was in 5th class or 4th class, ये साउथ इंडिया में, I was in आंध्र प्रदेश, right? हमारा उधर एक बहुत बड़ा मतलब एनुअल फंक्शन में हम मल्टीपल क्लासेस के बच्चों को लेके एक बहुत बड़ा डांस हमने कोरियोग्राफ किया. मैंने नहीं किया था, मतलब स्कूल ने किया था. एंड तब मैं वो जो गाने पे हमारा कोरियोग्राफी हो रहा था, मेरे को लग रहा था तब के टाइम पे कि वो तेलुगु गाना था. Much later I found out it was Ekada Ekada Rare Pilla. So which is a Sambalpuri. I much later found out that it was a Sambalpuri song. And that's when it hit me that the impact of Sambalpuri music is so strong that people in Andhra Pradesh are using it in their school function. And I, being Odia, did not even know about it as a kid.
Right.
Because we have not represented that enough in our mainstream. Agar hum Odia, and I'm glad people like Sona Mohapatra, they push for our cultural nuances, and they represent them in mainstream, because our culture and our heritage is rich. What we are lacking is representation.
Right.
Trust me, the day we start representing it beautifully in the mainstream, and I believe the next 10 years are going to be it's going to represent the growth story of Odisha. I genuinely believe that, because the next 10 years, India is on a tangent and we are going to grow. I believe in our growth story, and I believe in Odisha's growth story. And I think more representation in mass media, more representation on internet, mainstream representation, will get there.
I think a lot of people are already on it.
Yeah, they're on it.
Right.
It's about time. Yeah.
So there is this fun segment that we planned, is that we have 3 objects, not objects, okay, 2 objects and 1 something.
Okay.
So you have to sell it to the audience.
To the audience.
Right.
How do I know that they're buying? Okay, fair. I'll sell
They're
it.
not buying, they're buying.
Yeah. मैं तो बेच दूंगा.
You have to just, how would you sell it if
Okay,
you were
ठीक है.
you were to set it up?
Okay.
The
If
first,
this is my merch.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first thing is Astrix ka merch.
Okay.
This.
Okay.
This.
Oh,
I feel like a salesman right now.
there's nothing wrong with being a salesman. Salesmen
No,
are
I am-
the bloodline of any
But
organization.
I'm not a salesman now.
ठीक है.
So this is the merch.
ठीक है.
Set-
बेचना है.
Yeah.
Guys, buy this merch. It has a butterfly written on it. I mean, drawn on it, and Siddhant on it. It's purple, by the way.
It's personalized.
It's
Siddhant.
superbly personalized. It's black. And you know what else is black? Your future if you don't buy this shirt, okay? So buy this shirt so your future is not black, okay? Buy it. Consume. Consumerism is great. Capitalism, look at me in the eyes. Consume, eat.
That was very good. I would definitely buy it.
Yeah.
How does the what's the
You need to that.
Yeah, prices somewhere of 69, I mean 99, 69. Yeah.
Available at Astrix website.
Astrix, okay, how much is it? It's retailing from 699 and I'm somewhere of 69 and I approve this message. Go to their website, buy the heck out of it. They should run out of all their inventory. They should cry because their website is overloading. They cannot pay their interns anymore. Okay, so buy, consume. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
The next thing you have to do is
Okay.
our sponsor.
Okay.
Open that.
इसको मेरे को खोलना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. I am supposed to sell this also? Okay. Guys, as you know, Red Bull gives you wings, and guess what else has wings?
Cheers.
T-shirts with butterflies on them, and please have some Red Bull. More consumption, guys. Cheers. Love Red Bull.
You should be paid for fun. My Red Bull should be paying you for this.
Nice.
The one last thing. Not thing, but okay, one last. Our founder, Siddhant Tripathi. Please, Siddhant.
Hi, Siddhant.
hi?
Yeah,
What's
tell
up?
him.
I have to sell this guy.
Your big players.
Bro, you don't have wings. That's
Fine.
Yeah. So I have to tell you, right? Which is the camera? This is the camera? Take it. Guys, buy Siddhant. Siddhant is smart. Siddhant is enterprising. Siddhant makes enrich clearly because he's paying these people 15K a month and they're bootstrapped. I don't know where the money is coming from. Clearly not VC funded. But Siddhant knows people in very high places, clearly. So buy Siddhant.
Girls, especially girls.
Especially girls. Buy Siddhant. Okay.
If anyone wants to date me,
Yeah. If anybody wants to date Siddhant, what's your ID? What's your ID?
SIDDH.ANT_Tripathi.
That. Because
DM me.
you better be sliding into Siddhant's DMs because he's going to give you merch.
Free merch.
Pretty much.
3 lakhs a month.
Yes.
Salary is 3 lakhs a month.
It's the
Yes.
last option to be a gold digger.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm not sure to say that. No, I.
The best sugar daddy in town.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, I did say I don't have to that research. Samar of 69 mera naam hai. I'm kidding. But yeah, he's the very ambitious kid and it's an amazing team of very bright young kids and bache, and he's a sweetheart. Please buy him or buy his merch or buy whatever product he's trying to sell you. He's amazing. So yeah, is that enough? All right.
Best part.
Thank you so much for watching this podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.
Jai Jagannath.